Okay, I'm Thaidan Goguen-Bogdanis. I'm in the IT version of the course, and there's my email. I'm going to be doing this presentation like this, not in presentation mode, because as it turns out, in presentation mode, it doesn't record the screen, only my voice. So, yeah. And anyways, let's get started. So, my presentation is on the sample paper 3 from in the class. It's called Emotion-Specific Body Movements. So first off, I'm just going to summarize the paper and then I'm going to kind of talk about it a bit. So this paper is about human-robot interaction and how to make robots feel more human in the way that they physically move. And even more so, it's how to do that during specific emotions to make robots feel like they actually have emotions. So an interesting thing I thought was that the more robots look human, the more we expect them to act human, which means the better they look, the better they have to move and express as well. And if we can't do that, then we're going to end up stuck with robots that seem a little off to us. They look human, but they don't feel human. And this paper goes into how to solve that a bit. So what they actually did was they conducted a study that was basically to see how people move during different emotions. So I think one of them was like they recognize that people sort of look down but keep their eyes forward when they're feeling angry, and they think they have their arms more forward as well when they're feeling angry, or there's a lot of asymmetrical hand movements when people are feeling surprised, and like their eyebrows stay up the whole time. So just things like that, like subtle little things that we as people would read it as an emotion, but we don't necessarily think of it, so you have to actually observe it to put it into a robot. And that's the goal of this paper, is to actually give people designing robots information as to how to actually build those emotions and make them look realistic or human, make them look human. So this is also like an important thing because robots have, like, they're starting to have more humanoid bodies or physical presences in general, and that opens up a whole new way to interact with them. They're not just a screen where we tap buttons or use voice commands. We could actually, like, like you could handshake a robot, and you can't really do that right now. But the more robots are actually physical, not just AI, the more that becomes something we need to think about. That also means that they need to have the right kind of presence so they aren't off-putting, because we've probably all seen some strange looking robots that look human but they don't quite act human. And yeah, so the findings of the paper were just many of the different things that humans do that make us like display emotions subtly with our bodies, like rather than just with our words or how we even speak. It's just our bodies in this study. So basically my thoughts on it, like to kind of give it a review of sorts, is that this is an important step to getting robots to be more realistic. Currently, as I've said, robots don't often feel human, which is even worse when they look human and they don't feel human. But using the information in this study, you can actually emulate human movement, like the subtle things that we do that you wouldn't necessarily think about when you're just coding it. You'd have to actually observe it, like I said earlier as well. Emotions are something that's missing from robots very often, and emulating them would be very helpful and make them feel a lot more natural, which would open up the possibility for more widespread use of humanoid robots in the future. The only big issue, I think, is that this was only done with a study group of five people, which is not a lot. I think they should probably do it more with more people and learn more things that we do to kind of show our emotions. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Um, yeah, that's my thoughts on this paper from class.